The entire west side of Altadena has just been absolutely decimated.
And upcoming weather poses new problems for communities. Now at 6:30, how Ohioans are helping fight the blaze while communities begin to clean up.
I just have no words to describe how I feel right now.
Plus, it's been almost a week since President Donald Trump took office, how the administration is ramping up efforts to tackle illegal immigration, and why some say it goes too far.
And in sports, Ohio men's basketball is set to face a tough MAC opponent. Newswatch starts right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Allison Patton.
And I'm Haley Hollinger. And we have several important stories tonight, but first we want to get a quick check on the weather with lead forecaster Emily Dietz.
Emily, some parts of our area saw some flurries. Could we see more snow heading into the weekend?
We might be expecting a couple of flurries, but we're not expecting anything significant that's going to cause road closures or anything. And it certainly does feel like it should be snowing outside with temperatures right now about 23 degrees. We do have some partly cloudy skies, but we're expecting things to clear up a little bit. Now, highs for today, Athens reached a high of about 31 degrees, so finally out of those teens. It's certainly been chilly this week, and surrounding areas, especially to the north and to the west of us, are in the mid-20s still, so definitely still chilling outside. Keep your winter coat out, and just because our temperatures are going to be getting up a little bit in these next couple of days doesn't mean it's time to put them away. Now, part of the reason we're still seeing these cold conditions is because of this high pressure that's above the Great Lakes right up here. Now, even though this high pressure is centered above the Great Lakes again, it's still creating this big circulation that's kind of dipping down into our area, into the Ohio Valley area, that's pulling down this cold Arctic air. But something we are keeping our eye on is this low pressure system out to the west, because that's going to be changing things for us temperature wise in these next couple of days. But unfortunately for us, we're not going to see that tonight. It's still going to be 10 degrees outside, so pretty cold. And even though we have partly cloudy skies, things will be clearing up a little bit.
Thanks, Emily. We continue to follow the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. The Palisades and Eaton wildfires are now under control, and fire officials hope a storm rolling into the area this weekend will help put out other fires still burning.
And while the rain can help, it also poses another risk to residents. Meteorologists say potentially more rain than the region has seen since last June is set to hit communities this weekend. With it, the risk of flash flooding and mudslides in burn areas. For the few whose homes survived the flames a couple of weeks ago, they hope sandbags will save what they have left.
Better to do something ahead of time than wait until the last second.
Governor Mike DeWine has dispatched a 9-person fire management team to California to assist firefighters. The team is expected to begin work with local fire crews on Monday. And while the Palisades and Eaton wildfires are now under control, the toll they took on entire Los Angeles neighborhoods is still being determined.
As evacuations lift, people are returning to areas that resemble war zones. Maribel Gonzalez joined one of those hard-hit families.
I didn't recognize anything.
This is the first time Elaine and Victor are returning to their Altadena neighborhood since the Eaton fire forced them to evacuate. The couple at a loss for words as they drive through block after block of wreckage. Home is now nearly unrecognizable.
It feels like a terrible dream we're going to wake up from.
As we turn a corner towards the street they lived on.
You see the fires happen, but you never think that it would actually be you on TV, you know, or that it would be you that it would happen to.
A stop at a National Guard checkpoint.
Right over there.
Both ICU nurses, Elaine and Victor, are used to dealing with crisis.
This is our house.
But nothing could have prepared them to see what the Eaton fire took from them.
I think the worst thing is that we were looking forward to starting a family. We got married.
I just have no words to describe how I feel right now.
The Eaton fire ravaged through this Altadena neighborhood, leaving some homes seemingly intact, while others burned to the ground. These families left with nothing.
People think LA is like rich and glamorous, but it's just, you know, average, hardworking people that are trying to get by and save up.
Like so many here, with the help of friends, family, and their community, Elaine and Victor are clinging to hope. But they fear the house they called home for only 6 months will take years to rebuild.
Still have to pay the mortgage here, even though, you know, the house is not here, so.
Whether we like it or not, we got to make it happen. We got to make it work somehow. Like, this is, you know, this is home.
In Altadena, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
There are a number of ways you can help those affected by these fires. On your screen now are ways you can donate. You can visit the American Red Cross's website as well as call or text to make a donation. The Salvation Army and United Way are also accepting donations, which you can do at the websites on your screen.
Police have identified the 2 people killed in a crash involving a salt truck in Gallia County. 54-year-old Alan Nolan of Vinton and his passenger Larry Nolan were both pronounced dead after their car was hit by the truck along State Route 7 yesterday. The driver of the salt truck was taken to a hospital for minor injuries. Ohio State Highway Patrol says there have been 34 crashes involving snowplows across the state since November. Basketball is back in Athens this weekend, and it starts tonight with the Ohio men's team.
Yeah, the Bobcats are less than 30 minutes away from tipping off against the Kent State Golden Flashes. And sports reporter Andrew Bowlby is live at the Convo. Andrew, how are the vibes?
Yeah, well, Allison, the vibes are high right now, and it's a big night at the Convo. We heard Emily talking about the temperatures. It warmed up today, but it's still pretty cold. I can't think of a better place to be than in the Convo watching the Ohio men's basketball team on this Friday night. It's a big game as well because it's on national TV, and of course, the storyline surrounding this team today is the injuries. AJ Clayton, Aiden Hadaway, both out tonight, will not play, and have suffered injuries that could keep them out for extended periods of time. So it's going to be fun to see how this team kind of adjusts. Who will step up? Who's going to step into those roles and kind of take on a Kent State team that's been very good this season, and Ohio has won 99 games all time against the Kent State Golden Flashes. A chance to get win number 100 tonight. As I mentioned, it's on national TV on ESPNU. It's a great opportunity to show off university, show off the program. Jeff Bowles told us yesterday. So it's going to be a great night in the Convo, and guys, we're certainly looking forward to this night at the Convocation Center.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bowlby. It's looking like it will be another fun night in the Convo. We'll check back in with you again in a little bit.
And sticking with sports, baseball season is right around the corner, which means the Cincinnati Reds Caravan is on the road getting fans ready for the season.
And the Caravan made a stop in Athens this afternoon to hang out with some local fans. Fans were able to meet Reds mascot Rosie Red, the team's radio broadcasters, and current players in the organization. Former first-round picks and top prospects Cam Collier and Chase Burns were among those who made the trip, and they expressed how amazing it is to meet fans from all around Reds country.
It's been pretty cool, man, just seeing all the fans in different parts of Ohio and getting to meet them face-to-face. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we're 2 hours and 30 minutes away from Cincinnati, so to see that many fans come out and support us, it's really cool.
The Reds spring training starts next month. Opening day in Cincinnati is set for March 28th. There is a new top bulldog in town. The Athens City School District names who will serve as the district's next superintendent. Associate Superintendent Chad Springer will take over the position after 10 years in the district. Springer was hired as a physics teacher at Athens High School in 2012 and became principal in 2019. He'll replace current Superintendent Tom Gibbs, who is retiring in May after 10 years in the position.
Now, it may be winter, but tax season is quickly approaching. The IRS will be accepting 2024 tax returns starting Monday. This year, some filers may also get a separate check from the IRS in the next several weeks. The agency is sending money to 1 million people who were eligible for the 2021 Recovery Rebate Credit and didn't claim it on their taxes that year. The deadline to file your tax return is April 15th. In more economic news, the National Association of Realtors says existing home sales fell last year to their lowest level since 1995. The group says sales for pre-owned homes, which makes up most of the market, totaled just over $4 million in 2024. Higher home prices and elevated mortgage rates are to blame. The median price of an existing home reached a record high of $407,500 last year. And the average rate on a conventional 30-year fixed mortgage reached a peak of 7.22%. Despite the bleak conditions for buyers, there was some momentum toward the end of last year as interest rates slightly dropped. President Donald Trump has been in office for almost a week, but his administration is already making major moves on immigration.
The White House announced today the government has started using military aircraft to deport migrants. These are some of the images released today, which shows around 75 migrants lined up, handcuffed, and boarding a military aircraft. An official with the Department of Homeland Security says the first flights departed Briggs Army Airfield yesterday evening. The migrants recently crossed the border and were in Border Patrol custody. 4 aircrafts have been sent to San Diego and El Paso to support flights there as well. Along with the flights, a new Homeland Security directive allows more federal agencies to identify and arrest people illegally in the country. It applies to the FBI, DEA, ATF, and more.
Meanwhile, the Justice Department is threatening to prosecute officials who protect so-called sanctuary cities. The ACLU and 11 attorneys general call that unconstitutional. Trump's border czar argues it would make the country safer and reduce collateral arrests.
When you release a public safety threat out of a sanctuary jail, when we find him, he may be with others. Others that don't have a criminal conviction but are in the country illegally. They will be arrested too.
The administration is also allowing ICE agents to make arrests in places like schools and churches. Advocates urge Trump to see how immigrants contribute to the economy as customers and as workers.
Coming up in sports, we're live at the Convocation Center as Ohio men's basketball is getting set for a major conference test against Kent State.
And state health officials released new data showing respiratory viruses on the rise.
Yeah, this underlines the importance of taking simple, preventative steps.
How you can stay healthy while illnesses spike.
We've had a pretty chilling week, but our temperatures are going to change. Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to learn more.
Derby 2297.
A little showmanship could be in order.
Will you look at that?
I think it's marvellous.
My name's Eliza Scarlett.
Are we ready?
Well, I've seen what I can do.
Jane Austen.
My sister. Her adventures will be magnificent.
I want him to get the chance to change the map of the world.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
There are thousands of discoveries. Wow.
This is huge. We are making history.
This is really exciting.
Years of hunting as a team means they each know exactly what's expected.
We didn't realize the magnitude of what we were going to be up against.
How are we going to pull this off?
Wednesday on WOUB.
Migration is freedom to Black America.
African-American migration was one of the most significant demographic transformations in the history of the United States.
If there's a Black American dream, it's to have the freedom to dream.
That decision to migrate, if that's not transformative, I don't know what is.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome live into the Convocation Center. I'm Andrew Polby, and what a time we have reached in the MAC basketball schedule. Every game being played means something, and for Ohio, they're getting ready to tip off with Kent State after a rough couple of days for the program. The Bobcats lost back-to-back road games to Eastern Michigan and Akron, and that really slowed the pace the season had been on. In both games, the Bobcats allowed over 90 points, and even though the offense was scoring, 2 slow starts really hampered the Bobcats, and they couldn't finish comebacks. Just to make matters worse, Elmore James missed both games dealing with a personal matter, while A.J. Clayton and Aiden Hadaway both sustained significant injuries. Head coach Jeff Bull said yesterday his team is going to need to reinvent themselves in the wake of the losses.
If you look at both the first halves, we struggled in the first half, and then we won the second halves. So we got to get off to a good start, especially tomorrow. That'll be big. And losing Clayton, Elmore, and Hadaway, you got 3 starters out, which changes your rotation completely. So you kind of got to reinvent yourself a little bit.
Bulls also revealed yesterday that star big man A.J. Clayton is weighing different rehab options for his injury, and there isn't a timetable for his return. On Hadaway, we were told that he had surgery earlier in the week to repair his left ankle, which was injured at Akron last Friday. You see there on your screen that the duo combines for about a third of Ohio's scoring production. There'll certainly be big absences, although there is some good news, and that's Elmore James is likely going to suit up tonight after being away from the team over the last 2 games. Now, the best news for Ohio is that they are back playing at home. The Convo has been one of the toughest places to play for the opponents of Ohio. Ohio has won 48 of their last 54 home games, and that home court advantage is going to be significant tonight against a dangerous Kent State team. Kent State is coming off of an 83-64 road win over Toledo back on Tuesday, and it's been a bit of an up and down start to conference play, but Kent State always poses a challenge. Last year in the 2 head-to-head meetings, Ohio came away with a pair of victories, but only by a combined 13 points. You heard Jeff Bowles say it earlier, it is paramount that the Bobcats start fast tonight and get production from their depth. Expect to see more minutes from Aiden Evans and grad transfer Vic Searles, as Ohio needs all the help they can get with their 2 bigs out. And it's only January, but these mid-season games are massive in the MAC. Miami and Akron have breathing room at the top of the conference and will play tomorrow, but chaos ensues after that. Ohio's next 2 opponents are Kent State tonight and Toledo on Tuesday. 2 wins could shake up, while 2 losses could also shake up the standings. Remember, the cut line for the MAC tournament is the top 8 teams make it. And one more note on tonight's game. Ohio obviously has lost back-to-back games coming into tonight. They have not lost 3 straight MAC games since the end of the 2022 season, so they're certainly going to rely on this home crowd to make sure that streak does not end tonight. Reporting live at the Convocation Center, I'm Andrew Bowlby.
Thanks so much, Andrew. It'll be interesting to see what the Bobcats do with all of those players out.
Next, the FDA banned a common food dye in the U.S., but it doesn't go into effect until another 2 years. How you can avoid the dye before it's out of our food.
Normally, it's something that an artist cannot capture, and yet Leonardo does.
On Leonardo da Vinci. The first stirrings of scientific revolution was just being felt.
We really do see all of Leonardo's scientific knowledge in the painting.
He's taken this straightforward subject and turned it into something wonderful.
Don't miss the conclusion of Leonardo da Vinci.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
This is Passport, your ticket to stream complete seasons, early releases, iconic series, and so much more.
This was perfect.
Donate to your local PBS station and start streaming today.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future.
This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
Good evening. Things are still pretty chilly outside, but that's going to change here in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, it's about 23 degrees outside and partly cloudy, but we're not really seeing any more snow flurries. Now, the main reason we're seeing the cold weather that we have been is due to this high pressure that's above the Great Lakes area. Now, this high pressure is circulating in a clockwise rotation, and it's actually dipping down into the Ohio Valley area. So it's pulling all of this cold polar air down with it. What we also want to take note of is this low pressure out in the west, because that's going to be impacting our weather for the next couple of days, because we do have a warm front attached with it. And right along here, you can see that little warm band through that area, but right behind it is a little bit of cold weather, which may be influencing some of the weather, particularly for northern Ohio. But here's where you can really see that big dipping of that high pressure system pulling down all of that cold air into the region. But tonight, things will still be pretty cold outside. I know we talked a little bit about warming, but we are not going to be seeing that for the next day or so, especially overnight tonight. An overnight low of 10 degrees. So definitely cold outside. If you're traveling to any of those basketball games, you definitely want to grab your jacket, especially if you're walking there. It's going to be cold again, 10 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We should be seeing some of those skies start to clear because of that high pressure system. Now tonight, that high is going to move down south a little bit and again, clear everything up. So that just means it's going to get even colder. So we're going to, again, seeing that 10 degrees, going to be pretty cold outside. But here's that low pressure system as it begins to develop even more. We're really starting to see that warm front take its shape, and it's actually going to kind of move up to the north. So while it looks like it should be going straight west to east, moving right across Ohio, it's actually going to move more towards the northeast area, kind of taking everything along with it. So tomorrow we'll be seeing a little bit of that warming going on. High of 39, definitely quite different from what we saw today. We're getting closer and closer to the 40s, and our overnight low, again, is going to feel really different, about 18-degree difference. We're going to see that overnight low of about 28 degrees, and that is significantly warmer than what we've been seeing the past couple of days, especially being in the single digits earlier this week. Now tomorrow, there's that warm front that we were talking about sweeping through the area, picking up a lot of this warm air with it from the coastal area, the Gulf area, and taking it up towards the north. But right behind it, we have this cold air kind of settling into the area. So we have a little bit of warming, a brief jump down into this cold air on Sunday, but that's quickly going to change. So during the day Sunday, we'll have a little bit of cooling overnight, but this high pressure that's over to the west is really going to take over and cause these 40-degree temperatures that we're looking forward to about the middle of the week next week. So this weekend, we'll have mostly cloudy skies, not expecting any heavy snowfall. Sunday, that's where we see that 17 degrees. And as we move into Monday and especially Tuesday, that high pressure is going to take shape and really pull in those warmer conditions. So we're going to see about 44 degrees on Tuesday.
Thanks, Emily. All this cold weather means we are right in the middle of virus season.
And new data from the Ohio Department of Health shows a large spike in 4 illnesses across the state. COVID-19, the flu, norovirus, and RSV cases are up by almost 14% in the Buckeye State. State health officials cautioned Ohioans to continue to take these illnesses seriously.
Again, this underlines the importance of taking simple preventative steps such as frequent hand washing, covering your mouth when you cough, and staying away from others when you're sick.
The Ohio Department of Health also encouraged people, specifically those over the age of 65, to stay up to date on their COVID-19 and flu vaccinations.
The FDA issued a new ban on the use of red dye number 3 in food, drinks, and medicine. Food and drink manufacturers have 2 years to remove this dye from their products. But there are ways to avoid it before the ban is officially put into place. Mandy Gaither has more.
It can be found in candy, cakes, even some medicines. Red dye number 3 is all around us, but experts say it may be harmful to our health.
The recent ban was really initiated due to the fact that studies have shown cancer growth in animals.
Last week, the FDA revoked the authorization for use of red dye number 3 in foods, beverages, and ingested medicines. But the agency is giving food manufacturers until January 2027 and pharmaceutical companies until January 2028 to reformulate their products. But you don't have to wait until then to slash the substance from your diet, says registered dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic.
Be very diligent about reading those ingredient labels because the dyes can be kind of hidden in there. So you really have to scan those ingredients to make sure that it's not listed.
Zumpano recommends avoiding all synthetic dyes, not just red 3. Since the dyes are added during processing, she says to eat whole foods instead. She also says to watch out for beverages because dyes can hide there too. Finally, use an alternative like fruit or vegetable extracts that can be used to color foods for a special occasion.
None of these food dyes are necessary. They're not healthy. They do not provide any nutrition. So there's no harm in eliminating them. You're only creating more health benefits.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead, after 3 months, giant pandas make their triumph return to Washington, D.C. Meet the newest animals in the nation's capital tonight.
On iconic America.
For people around the world, the Statue of Liberty stands for freedom.
It's a place where many, many, many Americans can trace their history to.
What it's supposed to symbolize is the abolition of slavery, but nobody knows that story.
It's hard to argue that there's a more iconic symbol of America today than the Statue of Liberty.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
It is true, we are weak and defenseless, but resistance is the only reply.
Life in the ghetto was a chain of resistance.
It required unbelievable courage.
So this is a story that gives you power to live.
Jews did not go to their death as sheep to the slaughter. They fought back.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
You can turn things around at any time.
You are more than prepared, okay? We have it in the tank.
NFTs have expanded the scope of what I'm able to do.
Something I've been trying to sell for years, sold out in 3 days. It's like mind-blowing to me.
When I play basketball, I feel like there's nothing that could stop me.
You don't see that many people that are Asian ranked on ESPN, and I wanted to show people that I could do that.
I saw myself spiraling downhill with my health.
He went from an insane amount of pills, and now he's doing 150 miles a week at almost 70 years old.
California now possesses a state-of-the-art prison.
We were placed in solitary confinement for decades.
Let's do a non-violent act. Let's do a hunger strike.
It's not 100%, but I'm not going to quit.
If the worst thing happens, we'll still be a team.
The nation's capital welcomed its newest residents today. After getting acclimated for 3 months, giant pandas Bo, Lee, and Chingbo made their big debut at the Smithsonian Zoo.
And the pandas are not just back in D.C., but they're also back from the brink of extinction. With less than 2,000 giant pandas living in the wild, conservation programs like the Smithsonian are critical for the species.
Through the work that we've done, giant pandas have been uplisted from the endangered list to the threatened list.
If you want to visit the two pandas, the zoo is free to the public. Tickets can be reserved on the National Zoo's website.
It was a special day for Bob Zonneville of Medina. The World War II veteran celebrates his 100th birthday today.
And many of his friends and family got together to celebrate the vet. He has been supporting hospice with service donations and advocacy for decades. He also talks to kids at schools and visits vets at assisted living facilities. Bob says we're here to help each other, and everyone should, as long as they have the energy to. And though Bob is 100, he says he doesn't feel any different than he did at 99. He even drove himself to his birthday party. At the birthday celebration, Bob received special recognition from Governor DeWine. Well, I hope he was able to get outside a little bit for his birthday party.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely a great celebration, 100 years. I hope I'm in as good as health as he is when I reach 100. Yeah, like you're saying, outside, I hope it was great conditions, and taking a look at what we've going on tonight, it's definitely going to be cold, so hopefully the birthday celebrations have ended, because you're definitely going to need a jacket tonight. It's going to be about 10 degrees for our overnight low, and we are looking at some partly cloudy skies. Now, over the next 7 days, we will be going up in our temperatures. Sunday, we're going to see a little bit of a dip back down in our overnight, but overall, next week, we're going to reach a high of 44 degrees on Tuesday, so definitely on the warmer side of things coming up this week.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Allison Patton.
And I'm Haley Hollinger. And stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up right quick. Have a great night.